Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Subversive Beauty. And in today's episode, I have the honor of being with Saphron, the winner of season 5 of Glow Up, one of my favorite shows ever, and one of my favorite makeup artists, social media people ever. Saph, tell me a little bit about your look.
You're so sweet. I literally think the same about you. So I've got a look on today that I tried to make it like my style, but I kind of just went crazy and did
Mm-hmm.
whatever I wanted. It is inspired by like ripples in the water. So I've got like water droplets on my face, and the makeup's very abstract and very unusual, and it's very similar to my mold makeups that have been kind of trending recently.
Oh my gosh,
So
literally insane.
yeah, and it's still kind of wearable because I didn't want to go the full creature design that I sometimes do as well
Yeah,
with prosthetics and not being able to breathe or see properly with contacts. So I would say it's,
yeah.
dialed down a little bit for me.
For like a wearable, like every day. And I think
Yeah,
I think we're kind of in the same world of like abstract.
yeah,
I have like kind of like a color blotch on. I
yeah.
did this for Charles Jeffrey, like when he was in New York a while ago. And ever since, it's been kind of like an easy go to. Like I just have like
It's so
blue,
effective as
teal,
well.
green, red, pink, like all of them just like
Yeah,
splattered everywhere.
like these mold makeup looks that I've been doing recently take me like half an hour, and it's so
Mm-hmm.
effective. And they've been like the most recent one recently got to like 2.7 million views, and it's like I could do that in half an hour. I could create loads in a day, but my other big
And
look can
it's
take the whole day, months of prep.
absolutely,
It's crazy
especially
how
with all
that
like the
happens.
prosthetics you do,
Yeah,
like, and I think that's what I love about the mold especially is it looks, because it's more so like a concept look,
yeah,
like it's super conceptual. It takes a lot of time to like prep the look and
yeah,
like come up with it and everything, but like I love looks like that where it's basically like the messier the better,
yeah. And
like.
it's really easy to do. Like a lot of people can copy it, and I think that's why it's also quite attractive to. Well, not like beautiful attractive, but like it's quite nice to see someone walk you through quite easy steps, and it's messy, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's meant to be
It's pretty
there. It's
simple.
meant to be there
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
Like it's not
And do
just me going
you
crazy, you know.
do you feel like do you like when people recreate? Like, because I know some people are kind of like territorial overlooks. Like, it just kind of
Mm.
depends on the
I
person.
think as long as they credit, then it's fine. Because I know it can
Yeah,
get if one person doesn't credit and then that goes on and on and on.
viral.
It's
Mm-hmm.
it's a bit sad watching that happen and just thinking like
Because I
that was my
feel
idea.
I was talking about that in the last episode. I was like, because obviously, like, you want your ideas to like be popular,
Yeah,
like be accepted, like you want other people to try it
yeah,
out. But then when you see like something you did and something you took a lot of time to kind of
yeah,
conceptualize and everything, just like kind of get watered down. I don't know. Like I always
yeah.
like I guess my thing is like with my blush or whatever. Like it's kind of simple, like where I put it, or
But
whatever.
it's like a
But like
staple.
yeah,
Mm.
it's like I love doing it, and then when I love seeing like when people tag me and be like, I tried out Nico's technique. Not that I'm the only person to do this blush, but like for after a while, when you do something so consecutively, I feel
Yeah,
like you're kind of like,
you're known for it. That's your thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
like obviously, like this blush is inspired by like
yeah,
Rococo, like old like cherub paintings and all
yeah.
that, but like I'm still looked at a little crazy when I'm walking around with a lot of
I
blush.
love your blush
Like,
placement, and
thank
I'm very
you. And
inspired by the Rococo era as well. Like literally from the start of my career, I've been inspired by it. I'm sure you've seen some of my looks where I have like the big wigs.
oh my god, well, because didn't you do one of them on Glow
Yeah,
Up?
yeah. Because it's like it's
Because
very my style as well, but I've recently not done many, so I should bring that back. The big wigs.
I would love to see
Yeah.
it. And I think that like art segment brings us to our first
Oh,
question. And I just want to know like where was your first like kind of makeup experience? Like where you recognize like I this is
yeah.
something like I enjoy, I'm interested in, is really intriguing. Where'd you find
I
that?
mean, it's hard because I feel like mine came from all different aspects and then just suddenly was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, wait, I can do this as a job. And then it just happened. But I started off doing art. So I was always very inspired by anything like art, sculpture, and design, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I loved watching like the backstage of films. Like even films that I haven't watched before, I would watch the backstage and I'd find it really interesting how these films are made. And seeing the makeup department was quite inspiring. I didn't realise it could be an actual job though until sixth
Mm-hmm.
form when I studied art, and then they kind of told you what areas you can go in. And I was like, oh, I didn't know you can actually study makeup and it actually be a thing. I kind of saw it as like a
Mm-hmm.
fantasy, like, oh, I'd love to do that one day,
Yeah, just
but
like something people did for
I can't.
fun.
But yeah, you can't, I couldn't really see myself doing art, although I wanted to be artistic. So it worked in the end.
Because I think that's what I find with a lot of the makeup artists is like they kind of start by
Yes.
drawing it when
Yeah.
they're younger, especially a lot of like drag
Yeah.
queens. I
Like
feel like they
character
have drawn
design.
out their
Yeah.
characters, and it's like it's always a fun kind of thing, like seeing people like bring it into life. I was always a horrible drawer, painter, all that, because I'm very
Yeah.
messy. Like I just don't have the patience to sit down and like perfectly sketch something. Watching Glow Up, I saw you were working at a
Yeah.
pizza shop. Like wow, like were you a delivery
Yes.
driver
Yeah, I
or
was a
what were you
delivery driver.
doing?
I could not make food, even if it was easy, like putting it in an oven. I don't want that responsibility, but I can drive. So it was kind of like an easy job to fill in gaps because like freelancing makeup is quite hard to get into, and you're doing like a lot of free test
Absolutely.
shoots, or you're at home doing your like website. You don't get a lot of work at the start, so I wanted to have like a little part-time job that I could just do at nights. But I found out that I
Mm-hmm.
actually prefer to film my makeup at nights anyway, so it kind of did take up more time than I wanted. Um, yeah.
And I think that happened the same to me. I love shoot. I feel like nighttime, like even scientifically, is much more of
Yeah,
like a
I'm much
creative
more
time for
productive.
people. Like there's
Yeah.
less of like the day stressors. And so like during the daytime, were you like recording looks, and then at night, were
I
you
mean,
like delivering and like
honestly, I feel like
just working?
I have this thing is like if I've got something to do that day, it will be the only thing I do that day, or the only thing I book in. So I found often if I was booked in to do the delivery drive in, I would end up spending the day just like stressing about future jobs. So I wouldn't actually get anything like productive done. And then I'll be like, oh, I need to get ready at this time and then I need to do that. And then I get sad that I'm not doing makeup. So in the end, like once I
Mm-hmm.
applied to Glow Up, I was like, after this, I am going to quit. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm very lucky that I live with my parents at the moment.
Yeah,
So I'm able to quit a job like that and just pursue this, even if it's not going to be fully paid all the time. Yeah,
best
literally.
situations you can be in. Like as long as you're like not worrying about
Yeah,
like your where your food's coming from, where your
yeah.
sleep like your
I'm
shelter's
very
coming from,
lucky.
it's like the amount of
Yeah,
stress that's removed from you. Cause like right now I do like I
yeah,
get paid to go to school
yeah,
from like the
which always
government
helps.
or whatever. So I am like yeah, because I literally beforehand was like
Yeah,
working
yeah,
24/7 trying to like just make extra
mm-hmm.
money, build savings and all that. And then I realized I was like, I much rather have like zero money
Yeah,
and just enough to cover like food and rent and all that than have
yeah,
to
yeah,
like work my butt off and then have no time to like do anything creative. And I think ever since then I've been like so much
yeah.
happier,
I
so
was
much more relaxed. Like I've been able to kind of like pick up and
Yeah,
put
I was
down
the
as I
same
need
when
to.
I studied makeup at uni. I A lot of my friends like had to pick up side jobs as well to just like pay their bills. But I was also very lucky that I had my partner with me and we rented a pretty cheap flat, so I was able to save money and
Mm-hmm.
literally just get payment from the government to study. And I was just living on that. It was very minimum. Like, I wasn't able to treat myself or do anything like that, but I was happy that I was able to at least create makeup.
Yes.
Because luckily, when you buy makeup, it does last a long time. So yeah, so
Yeah, so it's
yeah,
like it's an investment more so than like a
yeah,
I don't like a frivolous thing, like spending lots of
yeah.
money on like food or something like that. Like I'm very much the same way. I don't have like the funds
Yeah,
anymore. Like I used to be able to like stop in Sephora whenever I wanted when I
yeah,
was like working and be able to like pick up anything. But now what I've realized is as long as I have like
hmm,
my my creative process, I'm able to like do that and kind of like
yeah,
live how I please. Like it is worth it. Like so much more than having like excesses of money and because it's I would come home, like I would have the money and all that. I'd be able to go buy
hmm,
something new, but I was
hmm,
so depressed. Like I'd be like getting yelled at by customers in the day, sitting there here like I don't even care about any of this stuff. Like
yeah.
why am I worrying about this? And then I would buy myself like makeup afterwards to like
But then
try
you
and make
wouldn't have
myself
time
feel
to do it.
better. And I was just
Yeah,
bored. Literally, I'd be doing the same look
hmm,
every day because I'd be getting yelled at
yeah,
for wearing like too much makeup. So then I was
yeah.
just
This
like,
is
you
not
know
for
what,
me.
guys? This was like 2 months before the
Too much
holidays.
for
I
the
was like,
holidays.
please, like I'm gonna go home for the
Oh
holiday. Yeah, and I felt bad, but at the end of the time, at like the end of the day, like your like
no,
employers do not care about you.
it's
Like they will
very
fire
rare
you
to
at a
find
drop of a hat. But
a
like if
really
you're
nice like boss. Luckily, I had a very nice one for the delivery driving, but others,
mhm.
didn't really get on with me. Maybe because I was a bit young and
Like
stuff like
and
that. So
because and there also I feel like there's always sometimes like that, especially when you have ambitions or whatever, there's like a little bit of like soreness where like they want you to prioritize um like
yeah,
their job over anything you have done personally. And luckily I think in most of my jobs I've worked,
yeah,
I had people who were pretty understanding of it and wanted to
that's good.
like
Yeah,
support me through it. So I am grateful for that. But at the end of the day, like the
they
companies
want you.
themselves, like especially big companies, they just want to get people in the door. They
Yeah,
want money.
no,
Like they do
yeah,
not care
it
about
is
you
hard,
at
but
all.
yeah, luckily I was able to
And
just be able to quit the job straight after. I did this weird thing, like I didn't quit it before I went on Glow Up because I was scared that I might go home really quick and I would need something else to distract me. So as soon as I came back after winning Glow Up,
mhm,
surprise, I
yeah.
yeah I quit there and then because I kept crying thinking about going back. So I was like, when you get to that point,
Oh my
when you're literally
gosh. I
like
know I like
stressing about going back to work, even if it's something simple, like it was an easy job, like it was a really nice, easy job, lovely people, but I was just so upset that I might not be able to do what I want to do and have the time that I want.
well, especially like
I know,
you
like,
go
what do
back
you?
after winning like a huge television program.
No,
Like, because you're not allowed to tell people, I'm guessing. You're not like you can't publicize, be like,
no,
hey guys, like
it's
watch me on the next season. And I mean, how
it's
long does it
like
take for it to
probably
come
around
out
three
from like when
months,
you
two
recorded
months.
it?
Like it's definitely over a month. Yeah.
And then like another year,
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
seems, for America, because we always get glow up so much later, and it's so hard because I never want to get
Mhm.
spoiled. So like I never follow anybody until
Yeah. Yeah.
I get to watch it, and then I binge it. Which thankfully now we're at like season 5, because I remember when it first premiered, I would download like a
Yeah.
BBC like VPN, and I would like
Yeah.
watch it through like the
You can't
BBC
wait.
platform
Yeah.
because I was just like so obsessed,
For
because it's like
us,
a
yeah.
perfect
It is,
television
isn't
show
it?
for like makeup
I
people.
yeah.
Yeah, like it is and that's like what I mean, and then because I read you
Hmm.
auditioned first
And I
for
kept
season
buying
2, right?
every year.
And it's so funny. Do you think like are you happy you
Yes.
didn't
Yeah.
get
I mean,
accepted
looking
that
back
early
now,
on?
I mean, I was good. Like I was always like pretty good because I studied art before. Yeah, I had something in me,
You
but
had it in you.
compared to the people who are on the show in those times, can't compare. You know. Or I'm just saying this.
Mm-hmm.
because this year I felt was definitely my year. The year before, season 4, I was actually something called a standby. So I was literally that close to being on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just in case, anyone gets ill. It's the same with like other shows like Drag Race. They also do that. So that was a
Yeah, I
very
know Drag Race
hard
has them.
situation to be in because you're so close and you do get rejected in the end sometimes. So I got rejected. And I remember that
And
journey
you're so
home and
excited.
there was like sad music
Like,
playing in the Uber. I was like looking out the window like,
did you like that could have been me? And did you think you would like did you think like, okay, I'm a standby for this, like
I
next
mean, a lot of
time I
people were
have
saying
to be
that to me.
booked?
Like, a lot of my friends and family were like, they're bound to let you on now because they know you're good. You just didn't get on last season.
Yeah.
But, anxiety is still there.
Like you're just kind
Yeah.
of
So I
inching
was
and
still,
inching and
but I think
inching.
it made me chill
Well,
out a little bit more because I already knew the process. I knew how it
mm-hmm.
feels to get badly rejected and stuff like that. I've been through it for 3 years prior to that. So I was like, well, I know how bad it can get, and I know how capable I am. So I was just like really chill the last time I applied, and I think that kind of solidified me as well because I was just like enjoying my time applying and stuff like that. Yeah. Whereas before I was overthinking it. Like I was trying to be
And
someone I'm
like
not. I was trying to be like really overly, I don't know, like I just trying to be like me on camera, but you
like
should just
bubbly,
be
like
you, and the camera's just on you. Like
and because like watching you, you were always like so like I don't know how to put it, but you
good.
never seemed like produced. Like you were very just like
I'm
I'm
just here in the
here,
background.
like
Hi.
I'm not
Yeah.
like because yeah, and it was like you always just let your work speak. Like I think when I got like most
Oh,
excited to hear from you is like when you were
that
talking
was the
about your work.
scariest bit,
Like I
actually.
just because you seem like
Yeah.
obviously like really, and do you do that like the
Well, they're not
confessionals
really
and or did
confessionals.
you
They're
have
just like little
confessionals? I don't
interviews.
remember.
After you do like a challenge, they'll just interview you and have your,
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel after that? You know, after that elimination or whatever. But it's not like confessionals. There's nothing crazy like that.
Mm-hmm. Which is why I also like kind of the BBC shows because I feel like they
No,
don't really
definitely a little bit.
prioritize drama. Like it's more so about like this is
But it's
genuinely what's
not drama
happening.
driven.
Yeah,
It's
and
definitely
like,
art driven.
but I feel like for yeah,
Yeah.
it's more yeah, and it's more so like whatever happens happens. Like they're not trying to like pit people against each other,
Yeah.
which is why it's like a healthy, like it's like a real reality show. Like I'm sure there's like weird things
Yeah.
behind the scenes that where you realize like, oh, this is a produced TV show, but like it's I never feel like and maybe I could be wrong, but like I feel like none of
No.
the MUAs really had like an issue with each other. Like I'm sure there were little like tidbits behind the
Yeah.
scenes
I
where
mean,
somebody
like,
stole
for
another person's
instance,
food
there's
or
one
something
episode, I
stupid
think
like
it's
that.
episode 5, when there was like Ismaya on the show. And we were in groups of 3. I know, we'll talk
Oh
about
my
her
god.
later. We were in groups of 3, and there was one group with Wes, Kieran, and Rue, and they had like a really bad time on that one. And they were arguing and
Yeah, yeah.
having like, it was really awkward and stressful. But as soon as we got out, I had no clue that they had that. I had no clue that they had like little drama because they're just back to normal. It's really weird. Like, what you see on camera is literally all it was. Like,
Yeah.
that was it. And then after they made up, they're friends. Like, they're all friends. We're all friends. We all still talk every day, actually.
And I feel like especially being in the same
Yeah.
like situation and same environment
Yeah,
for
you
so long,
understand
like
like
you
where the
kind of
stress
have to
comes
be.
from. Yeah, like
Or
a
not
lot of
have to be,
people
but like you're
just,
like
it's their
bonded.
reaction to the stress they're put under.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very stressful doing those group challenges. Like, you couldn't see, but my chest was going so blotchy, and I was the main makeup artist for the team, and I was like, I don't like this, but also it makes sense. um, yeah, yeah, it's mainly
Were
because
you
I've
group leader for
won
that one?
challenges, and I had
Did
a
you
few.
a lot of them. A lot of them. Yeah. Like Yeah, I mean, you turned it out. And like
Ooh.
obviously like we'll talk more. I
Yeah.
have like a bunch of other glow up questions I want to ask you,
Mm.
but when going back to like early on, did you, because you recently I
Yeah.
think
When was
completed a
that?
degree
That was
in like
like,
makeup and hair, and
yeah, sometimes the
because I
like
read it in an
interviews
interview. I don't
and
remember exactly
Google
how
gets
long
it
it
wrong,
was.
but it was a year before I was on Glow Up. So it was like a whole, yeah, it was a whole year before.
Okay. And do you think you got a lot out of it? Like
Mm.
for people who kind of like are debating
Yeah.
going to school versus just kind of like being
Yeah. I
self-taught, do you
mean,
think
when
it
I
was like a
started, I thought it was like
worthwhile kind of
absolutely necessary to
investment?
get jobs, but I've only sent in a CV like three
Mm-hmm.
times. It just depends what jobs you're going for. Like film jobs, that's where I'm sending in CVs. Like they're much more like, you need to have this degree, you need to have these experiences.
Yes.
I don't think it's necessary for everyone. For me, it was very helpful because I started not knowing anything. I just went into the makeup degree with an art background, so I didn't even know how to apply foundation because I never really wore foundation. I all I did was eyeshadow looks, and I remember when I first
Okay.
applied, I did one eyelash application on my mum. I, what else? I was practicing like I didn't do any prosthetics. I did like like a tissue paper and glue prosthetic. That's all I did. So I had basic
Okay. Just like
skills. So
a
it really
little
helped
baby
me build them
prosthetic.
up quickly, and I was very able to pick it up quickly as well, which was nice.
Because I feel like were you always like, I feel like you were destined to be more of like a prosthetic artist. Because I feel like the way you kind of see the world, like you
Mm.
always, like for me, I love prosthetics, but sometimes I'm
I mean,
like, I
I'm like
just
that
don't,
too. Especially
I
recently,
can't be
I'm just
arsed to do
like
it. Like
after
I
glow up,
just,
I was like, I need a break. I know it's like
well, I
that's
mean, girl,
enough.
doing like 10 insane prosthetic
Uh,
looks, like
yeah, I
in
mean, I
like an
think
hour,
I think that
like
like
it gets you.
um, the
And so,
prosthetic what was it like want to do prosthetics was kind of from doing sculpture because I did sculpture in A levels as well as art and art history and PE for some reason, which I did really bad at. But gotta have like a backup.
me
um,
too, me too.
and I find it really easy
Yeah.
to see in 3D, like from doing art and sculpture. So I think like understanding prosthetics, making prosthetics came quite easy to me. Obviously, there's still skills I haven't learned yet, but it's yeah, it made sense to kind of do more prosthetic stuff. But I also really love like editorials, just like anything creative, honestly. Yeah,
And I feel like you're really versatile
hmm
with it. Like even like the drag
yeah,
look you did, like you kind of can go
minimal
from like
like
minimal
drag.
to like full prosthetic, and it's like a pretty like seamless transition for you. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, minimal like drag, which honestly I feel like for you is kind of minimal
no,
because it's more.
I
It's like
think I only did
I
like
don't think you
3
did any
prosthetic
prosthetics for
looks.
that one, and
Yeah, because a lot of them have so many. I think
which
it's
is
because I did
insane because I
a
feel
lot of
like I
textural
associate
elements
you
as
with
well. Like
prosthetics.
the troll look was none of them were professional prosthetics. They were all just like sculpted
Mm-hmm.
on and texture. It's a foam
Was it
clay.
like a
Yeah,
what's it called?
a
Like a
foam clay.
wax?
I
Like
don't
the
like. I didn't use it before, but I was
oh.
like, what have I got around the studio that I can use? Because for that one, it was very much like I actually don't want to plan this look. It was more like a performance piece. So I wanted to kind of grab stuff around the room and make
Mm-hmm.
something from whatever they have, because it reminded me of like doing my A level, doing my uni degree. It was like literally like, right, what do I have in my room to create this last project? Because it was during lockdown, so you literally had nothing. So I quite like that kind of
Mm-hmm.
randomness of creating something just from home, from anything, from tissue paper, stuff like that. So I just, yeah,
Do you feel like kind of having that randomness helps you in a sense
yeah,
where it kind of
and
like
it
forces
helps you
you
get
to
out
be
of
like,
the
well, you have this many
like
things, like figure it out.
perfectionism aspect to it because I am very much that as well. I do like my clean lines and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been challenging myself in both ways. Like, let's just go for more messy looks now and like see if I can make something that I really love that's messy. And I think I achieved that with like the mold looks as well, because it's one of my favorite looks. But it's
Mm-hmm.
like, it's not that like technically skilled. Yeah. Like there's no
And
like real
because it's like
skillful
messy in the best
techniques. I mean,
way.
there is a little bit like with the prosthetics, but they're very easy to do.
And I feel like it's skillful, but it's more so like because you kind of know,
Oh,
like
I
if you
think
were
it's
to
more like
hand somebody who's
visual.
never done makeup
Like
before and
I
been
know
like, do
what looks
this, like
good,
it's not as simple
so I can
because your
like do
mind,
simple techniques, but it always ends up
yeah.
like looking really nice and crazy or detailed. Did you?
Because I actually
Yeah.
copied one of your techniques from that video
Yes.
where you, or I don't, I think it was that
Mm-hmm.
one where you like dug up a lot of pigment and then kind of like flicked it onto the skin. That, guys, like even if you're just looking for
Yes.
like, even just not for prosthetics, like I feel like that could work for like blush. It could work to like smooth out a
It's
lip.
so
Like I feel
fun. It does
like
mess up your
that is
eyeshadows
such a
though.
cool technique I saw, and I feel, and it was so easy.
Yeah. I've got so
Yeah, you do
many.
have to. So
I've got
do it
so
with
many
like I did
palettes
it
I
with an
don't care
eyeshadow I didn't
about.
really
Well,
care about very much,
I
and just
did,
like dig your
but I
brush
don't
in
anymore because
there.
I've got better ones. So I just like scrape those up and mess around. I also mix stuff
Yeah,
like pigments into like silicone. I want to show you these. Sorry, this is going off. I made these recently where I like
yes,
these are like um, lashes. It's so
please.
hard to see, but I mixed black pigment with
Oh
silicone
my
and they're like
god.
drippy lashes,
No, but like I can.
but they're like fully cured and everything, but they look wet. You see this?
Like, oh my god. I
I
like
got them.
those
I got them
mold,
here.
like the mold
Let's
eyelashes
let's show
too were
it to the
so
viewers.
genius.
I do. I actually really do want to do that. There
We
you
need a
go. There
museum
they are.
exhibition.
Yeah, and it's like, how
Just
do you
have
even
it. Oh
apply
my god.
this? Like,
It looks like a little caterpillar or something. Because it's just like a huge band. I was
there's the
wondering the
back
same
of
thing. Like,
one, so you can
did
see
you
there's
use
lashes
eyelash
there.
glue or did you use like a spirit gum?
I
God, like you
did
make
it.
me wanna like actually be like a real
But I
prosthetic
love that.
artist
I
and
love
not
your
just
like
like throw some blood in my
the
eyes or
matching your
like blood in
teeth
my
to your
mouth and
lipstick
like call it a
ones.
day. That I literally the story behind that one was I was at like a professional makeup store,
Mm.
which is like our Candyland. Like Sephora may seem like really fun for you guys, but I feel like by now I either have
Yeah,
everything I've wanted at Sephora, and Sephora just doesn't drop anything like new ever,
that's very much me. I
like a
don't
new
go
type
makeup
of
shopping that
product. Like I'm never
often. I
excited
mean, it
by what I
helps when you
see in
get expensive
Sephora.
stuff, but
Like
yeah.
like it,
How many
and
how many
you don't like
foundation?
when I walk into Sephora, it's like how many
Like
more
I
lips,
found my
like just
foundation.
normal lipsticks do I need? How many more lip oils do I need? Girl, like, and now we're kind of like recycling. Like, basically, if you have MAC Face and Body, you have like
Yeah.
all of the normal foundation, like normal kind of like
No.
glowy, lighter foundations you need. Like, I don't really buy new foundations ever because I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't need it. But when I go to a pro makeup store, oh my God, I'm like kid in a candy land. I'm like, they have
It's
tooth
so new.
prosthetics. Like, I can,
Yeah.
there's like blood capsules, there's foam capsules, there's like crude oil. It's literally just like my mind races. Like I get so many ideas
Yeah.
there, and I was going to get I think more black tooth paint because I love painting in the gap and like painting out my
Yeah.
teeth, and I saw red
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like that would just be such a cool image because I think mostly in like images where I'm like that would be a really cool picture.
Yeah.
And then I
And it's
was
just this
like,
like red
oh
void.
my god, what if I
I
like
love it.
matched my like lipstick to it? And I was like
Yes.
that because yeah. Or like, and I did one with black too,
And
and
there's nothing there.
that one
Yeah.
I think is a little bit more visually striking because you kind of like open your mouth and it's just like nothing is in there. And I've worn it. Oh my god, I this is such a funny story. I wore it like tooth
That's
black
very
out
not the
in
vibe for
Florida,
Florida.
which I don't know if you like know like all the lore behind Florida.
Mm.
No. And me and my
Mm.
best friend Aiden, we were walking through the mall. I think it was my birthday too. And like we were getting heckled by like
Yeah.
everyone. It was like for
Yeah, that
me,
is.
I like we get such
I
a
bet they
laugh out
thought you
of
were like
it. But like
demonic,
honestly, it was kind
like
of scary.
worship
Like
the
I had like
devil, which maybe,
I had
but
my teeth like absolutely like I had no teeth, no teeth.
yeah,
And it's like sometimes it's like a protection
that's
thing.
a
Like
bit scary.
I find it like in New
Yeah,
York, people just kind of like leave me alone because they're like, let's not mess with that.
so
And
funny.
I was just like, I cannot, like,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
probably
that's
the
saying something
strangest thing
because
that has
there's a lot of
entered like
strange
this part of
around.
Florida. I was just wondering, like, obviously I found you through Glow Up, and I'm sure a lot of people did. And thank you to Glow Up for that. I now have one of my new favorite artists.
Ah,
And when we kind of touched on it earlier with like you applying so many times, but
yeah,
did you ever feel like discouraged when applying? Like, I didn't get it the first time, like I don't want to do it again.
a little bit, but it was more when I remember someone told me, I won't say names, but someone told me to not apply again because it's like, it's not worth it, not worth your time. Like, you're really good, you can do it without it, which, probably. But there was just something about the show which I thought just sounded fun. Like, I just wanted to have a fun time there. I wanted to see what it was like because I'm a big fan of the show beforehand. I mean, anyone who applies
Yeah.
really is usually a big fan of the show. So I just felt like it was something that I see myself doing. Yeah, so I got discouraged by like some people just saying like, "Why are you applying again?" Like, they didn't want you, so
And also, it might just take them a second to realize like that they need you, and
yeah,
maybe they wanted you for like a specific season. Because
yeah,
I feel
it's
like there's
true.
always like a good like high and low of different types of characters.
Yeah,
Because I feel like if everyone on one season was like a prosthetic artist, and then the next one everyone was a
yeah,
beauty
and
artist, it would be really
I think that's
boring.
why I got rejected from season 4. I think I was quite similar to Lisa, like both kind of
Mm-hmm.
prosthetic-y. We both had coloured hair at the time. I had like bright pink hair. So I think to have like two people, similar heights, similar like personalities, it just, they want a
It
big
doesn't
range
work
of
for a
people.
show.
Yeah, they want a big range of
Yeah.
people, all different personalities, all different styles. So it made sense.
And honestly, in the end, it works out for
Yeah, I
you
know.
because I mean, when you have your own like character niche, like it is,
Yeah,
you're so much more likely to be
yeah,
remembered and have more focus on
mm,
you rather than if everybody was kind of
the
like
same.
doing all these crazy looks.
I
It
would
kind of,
fall back into the background. I know I would have. Yeah.
yeah.
So I kind of stood out for my like. I hate saying it because it's. I saw one thing on I think Twitter, and it was like, did anyone know that Saphron's shy? Because the amount of times they got me saying that. That's a bit of the production element because I said it like once. That's kind of my personality on the show, which I am. I
Mm-hmm.
am, but I'm not that bad. you know, like I'm on a
And I mean,
TV
I
show.
feel
I'm
like,
obviously not that bad. Um, but
yeah,
yeah,
I mean, it's not like you're sitting there like crying in the
well,
confessionals being like, I
well,
can't, like, oh,
I definitely
well,
did.
crying about being shy. Oh my God. Was it like, but I feel like those type of tears are like
Oh
different
my
than
god,
like normal tears. Like
it's just
tears,
stress
like
too.
it's the
Yeah, it
stress.
and it's
Yes,
so
it's like
annoying.
that's the only release
It's
you
so
get.
annoying when I've like obviously comments don't really get to me, and I usually get really nice comments. But it's annoying when people are like, "Why are they crying?" Like, why are they crying? Because I cried. What's it on episode 3 after I won first the two first episodes. I cried on the third episode, and people were like, "She's just crying because she didn't win." And like, yes, but no,
And
that
that's valid. It doesn't
that
mean like
crying was all
because you won the
stress.
two that you're not going to
Yeah,
cry
it was just
again.
all stress. I didn't know where I placed. It was more just like I thought I did good, so I'm really confused, and now I'm stressed because if I thought I did good, what's going to happen next time I think I did good? Like, did I do really bad?
Mm-hmm.
So it's more just like, I don't know, you get really down and you need to find ways to pick yourself back up and go back to like your confident self. It is hard. But luckily, because you're like all in it together, you kind of help each other, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but.
And I feel like it's you're in a pressure
Mm-hmm.
cooker, but besides like how much pressure it is, it also is kind of like a really like unique
Mm-hmm.
and lucky
It's really
experience
fun.
because you're like you have all the
Yeah,
tools for you. You have a brief and you can kind of
yeah,
prepare for some of them. And the part I'm kind of most excited for, you have Val
I
Garland and
know.
Dominic Skinner
It's
like
crazy.
talent like
Yeah.
judging you, and they're so like from what I saw, like it's I love how they
Mm-hmm.
judge. Like it is so they don't do it to try and get like clicks or have like be really quirky and try and embarrass you
Yeah.
guys almost? Because I feel like on other television shows,
Oh,
sometimes
because
it can
sometimes they can be
border
really
on them trying to
mean.
assert that they're
Yeah.
a better
Yeah.
artist.
But
Yeah.
it's very
And I feel like,
constructive. And you know that
mm-hmm,
from them because they do care about you and they do care. Like, you know, they've been there before. Like emerging artists, they've been there. So they know how it feels to try your best and not succeed sometimes. And, you know, it's a slow process into this kind of job. So they understand it all and they're just trying to help. Yeah, the more like
yeah.
fun comments that they do say is just sometimes, you know, it's in the moment, but, you know, they might have actually liked the look anyway. You know, they have to pick. They have
Well,
to
that's like
pick.
how Ding Dong
Yeah.
originated.
Like they could like all 10,
It's,
but they had to pick a bottom, you know?
yeah. That's, I mean, that's again, like, unfortunately,
Yeah.
the nature of television. Like, on social media, at least, you can like 5 posts in a row and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. It's like, you can comment on all of them. But what you can't do is like, you, you're not choosing
No.
one, I guess. It's not like a
Mm.
ranked thing. And then on like a television show, like, you have to like look really deep into like each of the
Try
words
and
to
find a winner.
kind of
Yeah.
differentiate them
Yeah.
all. And like when you first, what I mean, I can kind of imagine the
Mm-hmm.
answer to this, but like, what was it like your first time like showing your work to both
Well,
of
I
them?
actually think that's the scariest bit about the show. Um, to talk in front of people is so totally different for me. Like I can work in front of loads of people, but to talk in front of people and to
Mm-hmm.
talk about what I'm passionate about is really scary because it's like what if no one understands? What if no one understands my creative process,
Mm-hmm.
my the way I talk about things as well? Sometimes I stutter, and it's all of that pressure. And I remember I would write out a script for each one of my final. What are they called? What are they called? Yeah, I
Like your
would write out a
looks,
script of what I was going to say to Val and Dom. I feel like I was the only one who did that actually.
which I think is very smart because I
It
feel
does
like
make
once you
you
get up
nervous
there, it's
though.
kind of like word vomit.
But at least I had like
Oh my, what?
checkpoints. What keywords did I want to get out? Because I every look kind of had
Mm-hmm.
a meaning with everyone. It's encouraged that it has some kind of meaning, some kind of even if it's just a meaning about I just wanted to use this technique. Like it has to have something behind it. So I wanted to make sure I got keywords in and quickly because it could mean I could talk
Mm-hmm.
about a piece of work for ages. So I had to like condense it all as well. Yeah, it was nerve wracking.
Do you think there were ever times where they didn't understand or you felt like kind of
Um,
frustrated that your work wasn't being conveyed
mm,
properly?
I think there's probably just ways where like the look I did could have been conveyed better with what I had in mind. But I think they understood like all of my
Mm-hmm.
works, which is very nice. It was the one I'm thinking about is the rock look. Like I was in the red chair, I had a
Yeah,
time
yeah, yeah.
penalty, but I still felt like I could do a bit more. But I really loved the performance of it. I loved the when I put the mouth blood in and everyone's like, ugh, and then yeah, it the
Wait, was
blue
that the blue
blood,
mouth
yeah,
blood, or is that? Oh my, wait, is that the stuff like
yeah,
in the little squeeze
yeah.
tube and it tastes like
It's lovely,
vanilla?
but it does
Oh my
sting.
gosh. Okay, so my images will be out by now. It tastes so bad. Like I
No, it's
hate the taste of it, and I
yeah,
swallowed some
but
of
it's
it.
like luckily it's safe. But I remember
It's
that look. I kind
yeah,
of
like it's
wanted to go
meant
a bit
for it.
messier with it and a bit like
Mm-hmm.
like what's it like? I can't even think right now. See, this would happen like on the show, and then I'd have to have a breather.
Where like if you didn't have
Or
something
even if I just
prepared,
stumbled,
you
I
would
would
kind of
like
just
freeze a little bit. So I would have to just like, and then I'd be shaking and sweaty and red.
take it back.
But you know, luckily it's all edited.
And that's the
Yeah,
beauty of editing, though.
yeah.
We can always push
So
and
they
pull
did
things
edit out some
around.
of my like little wobbly moments, which is nice. It's nice.
Which again, it's like they
Oh
could have
my god.
also like kind
Yeah,
of painted you as
they could have got all my
like they
bad
could have just shown the
moments,
worst
and they
parts and been
didn't.
like,
Luckily, I think you know because I won. Because I
"Thank you
won,
to the
they
BB." Well,
couldn't just
and
make
I feel
me
like
into a bad person, so had to be likable.
yeah. Did you think you were gonna win when you went
Um,
in? Or is that kind of
Like,
not a thought
I feel
process
like
you
I
had?
didn't. It's hard because I had a lot of people saying that I was going to win. So I had all these people and all these expectations, and I kind of had to like trust them that I was going to win, but then not let it overtake me. Yeah. So there was,
Distract you?
I don't really know how I felt. Because I, in like other, when I'm applying, I don't expect to win. I don't even expect to get on. But when I had so many people tell me, I kind of had to just trust them and believe them. You kind of have to have like a little part of your mind that I could win this to be able to get on and to be able to do well.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have to have a complex and confidence about yourself.
But that
No,
wasn't like
because
the
I was more
forefront. Because I
stressed than
think like
anything. You know, like
where,
every look,
oh
every
yeah, you
look
don't even have
you
time to think about
over
if you're.
you overthink about. So I didn't even know every look. I didn't know if they would like it, even if I liked it.
And how much time did you get to prepare? Like before you went, were you creating those looks while you were in the hotel, or was it like they gave you the brief before
It's
you
like
actually came to set?
you're working every day. You are prepping.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like a few days. It could be one day. You know, it all changes depending. I'm sure it changes every season as well, depending on schedules. But you are
Mm-hmm.
constantly working. You're prepping, and then you're filming one section of the episode, like the one where you go out and do industry assignments, and then the next day you're doing the creative assignments when you're in the studio, and it's all very fast paced. But I kind of liked it. It felt like uni, but condensed, and you're being filmed. There's like little elements,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, but it did definitely. It felt like uni, where you just you finish that project and you go on to the next. Finish that one, you go on to the next. It was quite nice actually because I find without the glow up structure, I have got so many ideas and I don't know when to do them. And then they all
Oh my
yeah. Oh
gosh,
yeah,
I have to write all
I
mine
have this whole
down.
book that has a load of rubbish in. It has notes about today as well.
But it'll turn to gold eventually. Which I love. Like I
Mm.
remember like anytime I see an image, I would like try and write it down, and that's where all of the images of the
Yeah.
podcast, I would see something, come up with an idea for it, and be like, okay, that's perfect. I probably came up with these months ago
Yes.
and was like, that is a
Yeah.
perfect idea for the
Literally.
podcast. Let me do it
I
now.
have books from
And
years ago with
and
ideas, and
actually,
it's just something rubbish. Like sometimes it's just like seahorse, and I don't understand what visual I
mm-hmm,
had in my head, but it can be developed in a few years, and it will probably be a different idea. But I just also I have a bad memory.
because it always
Yeah, I
builds
have like
upon
a bad
itself.
memory, so I kind of have to write everything down
And
anyway.
I'm not, and especially when you're, I feel like when you're a creative, you kind of have like that, like I don't know how to put it, like train mind, where
Mm.
you're kind of like going, and then you just end up forgetting. Like you'll be like, "This is an amazing
Yeah,
idea. I'm definitely gonna remember this,"
what
and
was
then like
that?
a day later,
And
you're like, "I
I
don't even
hate
remember like
forgetting
what I
ideas
was
like that.
thinking of."
And actually, it happened for this podcast. I had this idea of doing like a mushroom fairy. I mean, very obvious. And I was like, I was
Mm-hmm.
busy during the weekend, so I was like doing stuff, and then I had an idea, and I went to get my notepad, and then I forgot it by the time I got to my notepad, and I was like, what was that like? What was that pigment? I was going, oh, wait, was
No.
it a pigment? Was it a texture? I can't remember what I had in my mind. So like, because I try and plan my looks, I try and sketch them out sometimes, just so I can remember what I saw in my head.
Mm-hmm.
But for this time, I didn't, and it was going to include those like little jelly lashes, but I'm gonna save them. I'm gonna
Hey,
save
now you
them
can
because
use
I
them.
have a
Yeah, now
fun
you'll have
shoot
like
tomorrow.
another thing to use
Actually,
them for.
I have moved my mold series to my
Personal.
professional working life, and I'm doing a full shoot dedicated to mold and fungi.
Oh.
So
Oh my god. Wait,
yeah,
didn't you
I've
say?
been
I think you
looking
put
for
it on your
people,
story
but
something
we're
about
doing it
it.
tomorrow, so
Ooh.
I think I'll just save them.
Are you doing
No,
full body
it's just
prosthetics
beauty
with it
at the
or just
moment,
face
so it'll just be
mostly?
like very close, like macro shots. I'm gonna get some macro shots of those mold lashes and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping it goes well. I'm nervous,
Oh my
but
gosh. I
got a
love
whole team.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
like seeing it up close is absolutely like my favorite part. Like I feel like makeup, honestly,
Yeah.
especially makeup like that, the closer you get into
That's
it,
why I love
it
playing
looks
with
so
texture
much cooler. Like it looks
and
like
textures where you don't have much
mm-hmm.
control over, because it can look so like natural. Like those mold lashes, I'm so proud of because they look like I grew them, and I just let it. I like threw them outside and I let them
I
do
mean, they
whatever, which
look like
actually might be an
mold.
idea for another look. That's funny.
That would be so like I always am
Yeah,
like thinking about
yeah,
like the organic parts of it because I think we're kind of the same where
yeah.
we'll do kind of like anything for a look. Like if I have the idea, I'm just gonna do it right away.
Hmm.
Like I put so many things in my
Yeah,
eyes
I
I
will
shouldn't have
always
put. I've
test
put so
these
many
weird
things in my
ideas out on
mouth I shouldn't
myself.
have
I wouldn't do
put.
it
Like
professionally because that's a whole other thing. But I love, yeah,
I know, and
yeah,
that's why I love working on
yeah,
myself because we can do whatever
yeah,
we want, and it's like it's our bad if it goes poorly. Whereas like on a model, like I can't
yeah.
use my saliva, I can't like
Mhm,
I
mhm.
can't like I have to be
Yeah,
so like worried about their
yeah.
health. Where
I
for
like,
me, I'm just like
yeah.
I don't care.
So,
Like I'll throw like I remember one time that's why I love going to the prosthetic stores because it was like
mm.
I wanted to find a way to dye my mouth. Instead, I took a water activated
I've done that
paint
though.
and painted my tongue with
I've
it,
done
and
that. I
that
know that
tasted
taste.
so nasty.
Disgusting.
Yeah, it's yeah, guys. I don't even want to describe it. Like
Don't do
it's
it.
just like a
Don't do
weird
it,
like
guys.
painty taste.
Use the
Like
proper
don't
stuff.
just go buy like the yeah.
Yeah. Or
And the
you can
stuff is like
mix
cheap, so
glycerin
just go on
with
like a
pigment, like eyeshadow pigment,
or
anything that's safe for the mouth. But you can mix glycerin because glycerin
ooh.
is basically used for cooking as well, isn't it? Yeah, try that out.
Oh my gosh. See, that's what I always try and get out of
People
people.
use it
I
all the time.
love
Like,
because now I need to try
uh,
that. Like
did
I've
like a editorial, and the main makeup artist did it then because it was like a last minute. Can we have like silver mouth blood? And they were like, okay, I can mix something up. And I was like, what?
oh, I love like
I
like when
love
makeup
it.
artists kind of become like
Yeah,
scientists and like start
little
doing
concoctions
like
made out
little
of like weird
weird
textures and weird like.
experiments.
I,
And
oh, I love it. I love.
do you have a specific look you've been like waiting to do? Like a big
Yes.
idea you've been like trying to
Um.
somehow figure out a way to do it?
No, I
And
will.
I know you don't have to reveal your
I'll
cards
give
too
the idea
much, but
because it's
any
meant to
little
be for a
hints?
collab with On May actually from the show, and I've been very slow at designing it because I want it to be really big.
Oh.
But I'm doing a look based on like insects, but I want it to look almost like a glass. What is it called? I've got it written down. A stained glass effect. So you know those like transparent wings that I made on the show for
Oh, yeah, yeah,
it's a
yeah.
pink look. I want to do that, make it stained
Yeah,
glass. I
yeah,
want
yeah.
to adorn it with loads of crystals and gemstones. But I know it's going to be so much work,
Oh
so
my
I'm just
God.
like planning it crazy. And I had the idea probably summer last year. It's because I don't want it to go
And
wrong.
it
Like
takes a lot, like,
I absolutely
I
hate
think
creating a
that's,
whole look and doing it wrong, and I've spent like 5 hours on it. It actually rarely happens to me because I overplan so much. But yeah, I just hate that failure.
mm-hmm. But it's like, it is always a
Mm,
real, like, concern. Because, especially, I feel like when you plan it for so long like that, you kind of
yeah,
like,
it's so
it
big.
makes you like
Yeah,
nervous to
it's a
even do
big
it because you're like,
project.
you don't want
Yeah,
to disappoint yourself. You don't want to
yeah,
waste your time. But also, I know it's gonna be so gratifying, like
yeah.
that, because I remember you've been doing so many kind of mold
Yeah,
looks,
it's
like
it's
even because I
literally
think you've been
been
doing them for like maybe a
just over a
year.
year.
Was your
Yeah,
first one?
I've actually only done a few. Like,
And I remember like you posted.
yeah, yeah, it's literally
No, I
free.
think this one
Yeah,
was the third one, right? Yeah, but this one, like
thank you
I wanted to
because
dedicate
it's one
like a
of my
whole little
favorites.
segment to that mold look because like I was literally looking
Mm.
for like a photo for like a tag or whatever. And I was like, I had to do the mold look. And I was like looking and I like see my comment that I posted when I first saw it. And I was like, this
Yes,
is the
yes,
best mold makeup ever. Cause I feel like it's been done. I've seen like
Yeah.
makeup inspired by
Yeah.
mold, makeup inspired by like organic material so many times. Not so many times, but like I've seen it before. But this one,
I
like if
think
you
it's
guys don't
pinned on
know
my
about it, like
profile, so
please check it
if not,
out.
I'll
It
get it
is like
pinned.
I was looking at it. It should be. It is
Yeah.
like I looked at this and I'm like, this is why I love makeup. Like it looks because sometimes what happens is I feel like for makeups
Mm.
like that, people go too like hyper realistic,
Yeah.
I guess, where they're like trying to like paint in everything really tiny and kind of work that way. Whereas with
Yeah.
you, you kind of just like smash it
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
and kind of have like the same randomness as like nature would have it. And so I want to hear a little bit about the
No.
process of that look. And did you expect it to go so
Yeah. I mean,
crazy, like viral?
my expectations were from
Like, and
the
I,
other two looks, which the first one I think did pretty well. It actually got 1 million, very well. But the other
okay,
one,
that is
you know,
pretty
not so good.
decent.
But it's
It's
still
pretty
like great.
decent.
They're quite popular looks regardless. Like usually I have loads of comments and inspirations, and people take
Mm-hmm.
inspiration from it all the time. What was I saying? What was the question?
About did you find like the look being like you
Why
expect a
have I gone
reaction?
blank on
How
my
did you come about the
favourite
look?
look ever?
Oh, you're
I've
so
got it written
good.
down already.
Give
No, I
it a
haven't. That
second.
wasn't on your list of questions. No, it's okay. It's okay.
Wait, oh my,
Um,
oh yeah, that was like a
yeah,
random
I
one
mean,
I threw in.
I knew I wanted to, with
Let
every
me
mold
see if I
look,
can like.
I have made a focal point of texture. So the first one was like I wet tissue and I placed it on my face and scrunched it up a
Mm-hmm.
little bit. And that was the textural element for that look. The second look was these like clear gems I'm wearing now. So it was like the water droplets, kind of like the wet textures in mold,
The
mixed
little
with the
water
dry.
beads.
And then the third and final look at the moment
Mm-hmm.
is the mold lashes and the mold spores. I wanted to have like a really realistic mold texture, but then the rest was very like pretty but abstract. And I loved using the multichrome pigments from Danessa Myricks on the eyes and everything. I just think I love mixing textures like that and
Oh my god.
mixing special effects with beauty and art and yeah, mixing. I feel like I'm becoming more of a mixed media artist, you know, rather than just makeup. I'm like using my sculpture
Mm-hmm.
techniques and I'm using hair techniques and stuff like that in makeup. And it's quite interesting. But I do want to do more.
Mm-hmm. Which and I do you ever feel like you're kind of more so because I've always been trying to figure out like my kind of like makeup ideology. Do you ever kind of feel like you're more so like a
Yeah,
performance
yeah.
artist who like uses makeup rather than like just a makeup artist? Because I feel
Oh
like
yeah,
especially for us, like
yeah.
we
I look
create
different in
full
all of
like
mine,
new identities for
and I
ourselves
feel
with the
different.
makeup,
Yeah,
and
I think
it's
that's why I got into like filming my
yeah.
process as well. I love performance art and I loved like installation art and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to give like
Mm-hmm.
characters certain I don't know characteristics and stuff like that. And even like with the mold look, I definitely had an idea of what the pictures was going to look like, what videos I was going to do because it all kind of made sense together. Even though they're like pretty simple ideas, like it's just a step by step, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
And it's more so like I feel like you because you're such like an advanced like proficient makeup artist, you kind of you have like the
I
privilege of like, oh, I
yeah,
know
where did that
exactly like
come
how to get
from?
that
So the
effect. Like
mold
I know
texture is
it's
from
really like
a
a
product called
simple
flocking,
look.
and it's used in prosthetics to mix, usually to mix like a pigment
Mm-hmm.
into prosthetics for like the under the skin veining to get like a realistic effect. But they also use it on like fake animals. And I was reading about it when I was studying. I was studying the behind the scenes of the Harry Potter movies, and for their centaurs, they did like big sculptures of these centaurs, and then they flocked them with the small bits of fabric to give that furry look. And they do it all the time with you know animals
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that in all types of films or yeah. Velvet, yeah, because it's so
because
small.
it kind of is
Yeah,
like a velvet. I
yeah,
almost like when you because and really like soft, but you can
yeah,
kind of like
it,
create. That's why it kind of gives like the
yeah.
effect
And
of
I
like
was
when
like,
mold
that
grows like those
that would
hair
look
kind of like
perfect if I was
fluffy
to get
bits,
that texture
and it
on
just
little prosthetics that were just like bumps. So I did that, and then I also, instead of using it traditionally, they use like
mm-hmm,
it's kind of scary, but there's like electric current gun to make the hairs stick up like that rather than lay flat. It's cool both
mm-hmm.
ways actually. So instead of doing that, I kind of mixed it up with a tiny bit of I put Prozaid with water in a spray bottle, and I did a little bit of that and mixed it up, and it kind of created balls. And I was like, yeah, and then just stuck that all.
Oh my god.
I love talking
I
about it.
can't like I'm literally like I'm just like going quiet at this. This is so
I
interesting. And like now I can understand how you can just like go on a tangent about it. Like I just found myself like going my mind going blank for a second and I'm like, "Oh my god, I have to
I
interview you."
just
Like I just want you to like sit
I
here and
love my
talk about
I love
like
my art. That's the
everything
thing.
because I feel like it is
And I love.
so interesting.
I mean,
It's like
sometimes my brain is annoying
yeah.
and it stresses me out, and I hate it. But I love when it does go into the really creative state where I'm like hyper focused on something. Like that mold texture, I was doing it for like 3 days straight, and I was like, I didn't even like. Yeah. Well, sorry, not the
And did you make it
prosthetics
all yourself?
underneath
Like all the
the
prosthetics and everything?
fairiness. Yeah, the bumps was actually
Mhm.
made by I think Jess FX,
The mold
and
like the
you can find
bumps?
those on those kind of prosthetics on Etsy. I could have made them myself though, but I just had them on hand, so I was like, I might as well use them and tag them in it.
Okay.
But I do create a lot of my stuff myself as well, and I'm actually hopefully I've been working on this since March, a prosthetic like business, very small business, but I've got three
Oh my
different
gosh.
prosthetics that I want to sell. I just like, yeah, I don't want it to be like a full thing. I just want people to have the
Oh my god,
chance to like
Saph.
try them out as well because I really love the designs and they're all like fairy vibes. Yeah, we have a forehead piece, a
Wait,
nose piece, and a like
oh my
cheekbone and
gosh. Oh my
brow
gosh.
piece. All of them has been shown at some point. That's the thing. It's just there isn't like a post where I'm like, it's up.
Really?
Yeah, this is happening.
This
I
is
would love to
like, do
launch
you
it
know
this
when you kind of
month.
want to
I was going to launch it in
launch it?
December, but then I was like, this is kind of a weird time to launch a prosthetic business because everyone's just like broke. But everyone's always broke, I've
Mm-hmm.
realised. So there's not really a right time, I feel like. So maybe
Yeah, I
late.
mean,
I don't want to
I,
put a time to it yet. But hopefully around the
oh my
time.
gosh.
Yeah, hopefully it's around that time. Yeah.
Okay, well,
I would
I'm
love to do it
hoping by
like
the
mid
time this goes
February.
up, I can link it. Oh my gosh. You don't, I love, okay. Guys, I will,
And
the second I
this will
get a
actually
link for
make
this, I
me work
will put it
harder
on my
to
Instagram,
actually do
wherever.
it.
Like, I am
Do it
so
for a date.
excited.
Because it's been so loosely, I haven't gave myself a date to launch it, so I'm just like
Yeah,
pushing it back a bit.
because
But I've
if,
made the stock. Like it's ready to go. Yeah. I just get a
mm-hmm,
bit nervous about the whole
you're just like,
making a
whenever.
website. But
Oh,
I think I'm going to
really?
do Etsy because that's where
Oh.
I shop. Yeah. That's where I shop for prosthetics, so I might as well add myself to it.
I feel like that's the easiest for everybody, and then you can build from there.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah.
I've never shopped for products on Etsy. That's like a good, like I always ask
Yeah.
people like where
And
they
they're all
where
small
they like shop
businesses
a
as
lot.
well.
I've
They're all
never
just
heard
like people like
Etsy,
me
but
who
I
just
like
want
I
to
and thinking
share
about it,
some
like it makes sense. Like I'm
prosthetics
sure there's a lot
with
of like really
people.
cool.
So it's even better.
And kind of like with the prosthetics, I you kind of mentioned it earlier. What was it? Give me a little bit of the tea
I
on Ismaya because I
I
like
mean,
having her judge
I
you. Like
she's
I
definitely up there
love
as one of
her
my
work.
favorite
Like I just,
artists,
what
and
was that
she
like?
definitely inspires me a lot. Like I think you can kind of tell, especially with, I mean, the amount of times I tag her palette is literally every look,
Mm-hmm.
and it's same with you. It's bad.
Yeah.
They no, they're great, and I just
Yes.
love the concepts
I
behind them. I
know it
have
is. It's
actually
they're really
worked
fun.
on an Ismaya shoot, for their 2.0 palette that they launched a while back. Yeah, yeah. But
Oh my god. With
I
like
did the makeup
Richie and
for
Julia.
the website.
Oh my god.
So I did like I was in another place, but I was there. I saw Julia and I saw Richie and everyone, and there's Maya just
Oh,
like
like for the
doing her thing
models?
in latex, and yeah,
Oh my god.
that was crazy in person.
And
Just
like
like
getting sucked into like a vacuum or whatever.
yeah, it's exactly
So,
that. And
okay,
then there
so
was like
did it
space for
like
the
kind of
face,
like clamp
obviously, so you
down
don't
on her and
you
like
don't
suck
suffocate. And
in?
there was like a whole team there. You know, you got to have your first aiders for something like that. But it's so
Die.
cool. It's such a cool like idea. It's kind of like horror. I hate horror movies. Like I can't.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I like the visuals. I like the ideas. So I like reading about
Really?
them.
I
I
would
would
feel
like
like you would
read
love them.
behind the scenes and stuff. I would watch behind the scenes of horror movies, but I can't watch them. I get nightmares. It's bad. But yeah, I love kind of the mixture of the
Mm-hmm.
grotesque and then the beauty with Ismail. But yeah, on the
And
show, she was great. Just, you know, what you see on camera is very much what we see. We're not allowed to see them out off camera. So we didn't really chat much. Occasionally we'd chat to some of the people. We chatted to
mm-hmm.
Trixie, actually. That was quite nice.